Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call our City Council meeting to order. Today is Monday, December 21st, 2009. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. And to make this meeting official, I'd ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, please, for a quorum.
Gutenkopf.
Here.
Hassett.
Here.
Shea.
Here.
Leader.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Hipskin.
Here.
York.
Here.
Nybo.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
Morley.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Mulliner.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
14 present, 0 absent.
14 present, 0 absent. We have an official quorum. And at this particular time, I'd ask if there are any written communications and or petitions from the public. If there are, if you could please come up and present those to Clerk Spencer. Any written petitions or communications from the public? Please give those to Clerk Spencer. Thank you. All righty. And next on our agenda is item number 4, and it's public forum. And it's for anybody, any Elmhurst resident could come up and speak. You'd have up to 3 minutes to talk about any Elmhurst issue. I'd open up public forum at this particular point. Please, when I call on you, if you could please state your name and your address, and then you'd have 3 minutes. Ms. Heslop?
My name is Darlene Heslop, and I live at 200 North Michigan Avenue, number 227 in Elmhurst. I've concluded that most of you don't listen. You talk a lot to the point that people tune you out. If there is some point that you are looking to get across, it is not communicated in a manner that gives the citizens the opportunity to fully comprehend what is happening with their local government. Instead, they are misinformed about the need for such things as a new fire station, a new parking deck, or many other things here in the city. The only thing that has been heard by the public is that taxes are going to increase significantly, and there are many that cannot afford even living day to day. For example, while it is admirable that you, Mayor DeCiani, have many things you can point to that you have accomplished, you can stop campaigning. Please instead try to run the city council meetings efficiently and fairly. The aldermen up there are trying to do a good job, even the ones that are not in your camp. Alderman Bram suggested decreasing the proposed amount allocated to the working cash fund this year, which had nothing to do with cutting any programs, including those for our seniors. Instead, he was asking that would it be possible this year to limit our allotment to our savings account in order to have a smaller tax increase. Alderman Hipskin, it has been raining in this city for the last 4 years, to which you have been part and parcel. This year, we are at the point of needing to build an ark, if we can find the capital funds anyway. It is raining that hard. We do not want to hear about how we got here. We want to hear how the future will be handled, as it is obvious that the policy of draining our reserves to zero will no longer work, nor will not looking at the expected decrease in our EAV for the next several years. Transparency dictates that you reveal where it is that an amount initially deemed too small suddenly becomes too much. The budget is in the range of $118 million, and in order to find at least $7 million, you need to lead the real task force, the 15 of you, as well as no suggestion from the public, no matter how insignificant it may seem, nor how repetitive, needs to be explored. You may not think that 2 cents per gallon will make someone drive out of town to fill up their tank, but I have news for you all, it will. The business model that needs to be utilized by this entity is that of a service-based non-for-profit. It is inconsequential, therefore, that our current mayor is a businessman, since our last one is the second in command at a Fortune 500 company, and with the exception of a PhD with 20 years of council experience and someone looking to make a career out of public service, you are all business people. I watched the last city council meeting 4 times. You would be amazed as to how much prattle goes on and how little you all seem to communicate and listen, not only to one another, but most importantly, to the citizens of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heslop. Anybody else for public forum at this point? This gentleman here in the black sweater.
My name is Bill McCluskey. I'm the Vice President, General Manager of Texor Petroleum.
We own and operate the Citgo at York and Butterfield, and we've done that for over 10 years. We have a great relationship with the City of Elmhurst. We certainly appreciate the efforts of the fire, police, and public works over the years. Unfortunately, it's come to our attention that the city is considering enacting a fuel tax. The city clerk called me looking for our total gallons number, so I knew something was up. We just recently went through this process in Norwich as well as Countryside, and in both of these cases, the gas station operators within the village didn't have a say in any of the issues in the process. I'm here tonight to express the desire of all the operators within the city to have a chance to have ourselves heard on such an important issue. It's important that all sides of the issue be heard by the Finance Committee and the Town Council, because as we found out in Countryside and Norwich, there's a lot of misinformation in regards to what goes on when a fuel tax is enacted. So all we are asking is that include us in the process. You know, before, in both cases, it was too late, it was already up to vote before we could even have a chance to say something. But tonight, I do want to talk about a little bit about some of those misinformations. Now, first of all, I do want to say that we do understand and appreciate the position you're in as a municipality and as a city. I myself served on the Riverside Brookfield High School School Board. Nobody feels that pain more than school boards with what's going on in the economy today. But you have to understand that the effects of this proposed Elmhurst motor fuel tax is not only would it just cut profits, yes, it's going to cut profits, but you're cutting profits on an item that we have no real say in the matter. For instance, the average profit on a gallon of gas in 2009 for an end dealer, which is what we have in Elmhurst, was over 14 cents, was just over 14 cents. Unfortunately, our industry is not like the others in that we have to post all our prices, taxes included, on our sign. It's not like a restaurant or a grocery where you just total everything up and then add on the tax. We have to post the end price on that price sign out on the corner. So we lose the ability to compete, or we sacrifice profit margin. We have experienced this. Elmhurst fuel volume will lose 25% or more. Understand that Elmhurst is not an island. Past history with Cook County cigarette tax and other home rule taxes in Bolingbrook, Oak Park, Countryside, and Oak Lawn have recorded volume losses of 35% or more. This decline could be more dramatic because of the large percentage of our customers that come from Cook County. There'd be no reason for them to come into Elmhurst to buy fuel and merchandise if the station right by their house in Cook County is the same price as ours. Understand that you have a 0.75 home rule tax, and this sales tax revenue, as well as the regular state tax, this revenue will decline.
10 seconds, sir.
Pardon?
10 more seconds. You're over to 3 minutes, but I'll give you 10 more seconds.
First of all, the tax is unfair. It places an unfair burden on the 13 gas station operators. The state law force operators post our fuel prices and puts us at a huge competitive disadvantage with Lombard, Villa Park, Oak Brook Terrace, and Oak Brook.
Time, sir. Your time is up. Thank you for your time. I let you go an extra 30 seconds, just so you know, but I appreciate your time. Anybody else for public comment at this time? Gentleman in the back.
My name is Claude Paga. I live at 566 West Gladys. I spent the last couple of meetings here, and I learned one lesson. The City Council and this administration are responsible for nothing. If the citizens of Elmhurst would have spent, there wouldn't be a need for a property tax increase. There wouldn't be a need for the council members to start figuring out what else they could tax. For some reason, members of this administration and this council, when they step across the threshold to this building, forget how they handle their own finances at home. If they can't afford it, they don't spend. They don't have an alternative. They can't raise taxes. They can't go to their boss and ask him for a raise. And until this council and this administration finally agree that they have a responsibility. They don't run referendums for spending. Each one of you votes yea or nay. And this whole concept of we don't know what the income will be. Sure, you don't know what the income will be. People living in their homes don't know what their income will be because they can get fired tomorrow. They're struggling to put food on the table, pay their bills, and they don't have any alternative. You, on the other hand, if you raise taxes, and then when you don't have enough money, you bond it out. I've yet to hear in this council just how much these councils have voted in bonds that we will have to pay whether this council exists or not. But every time we need money, we can't get it through taxes, and the people won't spend, we'll go out and sell some more bonds. They have to be paid for too. Gas station guy, he's moaning and groaning. The people moan and groan, and I got a funny feeling you won't have to worry about customers. You'll vote the tax on the gas. You'll vote a tax on walking on the sidewalks if you have to. But until you, as members, take responsibility for that vote and truly understand what you're doing, we're going to be back here in October, and we're going to hear the same thing. We don't have any more money. You're just going to have to come up with it, people. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comment at this time? Anybody? All righty. I will now close the public comment forum of this meeting and go on to our consent agenda, which is item number 5. We do appreciate everybody's comments. For those that went over time, if they'd like to submit their comments to our clerk too, we'd also entertain that so you can get your comments in, and those will be distributed with the council members because we do appreciate everything that you guys have to say. Now on to the consent agenda. At this time, I would ask if there are any items that might be in question or possibly somebody would like to vote no on that we'd like to remove from the consent agenda. If there are, if you could please raise those items to me at this time. Alderman Rose?
Item E.
Item E. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, less item E, please. Alderman Healy, Alderman Kennedy, and I'd ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll.
Healy.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Gutenkopf.
Aye.
Pezza.
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Rose.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Hipskin.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Nybo. Absent. Morley.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Nope,
Oh, excuse me, I called you. I got thrown off with the absent. Mulliner.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
14 ayes, 13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. The consent agenda passes, less item E. And item number E is an appointment. I ask Clerk Spencer to read the appointment, and I'll ask for a motion in a second, please.
Okay, it sounds like it's a reappointment, an appointment and a reappointment to the Elmhurst Historic Preservation Commission, Steve Michaels and Reuben G. Red Beebe. With your advice and consent, I will appoint Steve Michaels, and reappoint Reuben G. Red Beebe to the Elmhurst Historic Preservation Commission for terms that will expire May 30, 2012. Respectfully yours, Peter P. DeCiani, III, Mayor.
Thank you, Clerk. And Alderman Rose.
I don't intend to vote against this. Quite to the contrary. I actually just wanted to pull this off to take note, particularly the appointment of Steve Michaels. I think this is an excellent appointment. Some of you may not know that Steve Michaels actually served, gave lots and lots of time for a full year to the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, which actually crafted the legislation And I really wanted to say what a great appointment this is. This is someone, and I think Red Beebe's done a great job as well, but I think Steve in particular, because he gave all of that time for a year in helping to craft this ordinance. I just wanted to single him out. I want to give him a shout out and say what a great appointment this is, Your Honor, and this is someone who I think will do a superior job for us on this Preservation Commission.
Thank you, Alderman Pezza, and Alderman Morley. And I'll ask for a motion in a second, too. So we
Point
can
of
get this on
order,
the
I
floor.
motion that we accept the appointment and reappointment as read.
Thank you, Alderman Morley. And a second, please. Alderman Healy? Okay. And anybody else for discussion on this appointment? Hearing none, I ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, please.
Morley.
Aye.
Healy.
Aye.
Gutenkopf.
Aye.
Pezza.
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Rose.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Hipskin.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Nybo.
Aye.
Kennedy.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
14 ayes, 0 nays.
14 ayes, 0 nays. The appointment does pass. And we will move on to item number 6, reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. Not a whole lot on my plate, but I did want to recognize a letter that I saw in the Elmhurst Doings, which I thought was kind of a spirit of the holidays. I'm going to read it real quick. I had a wonderful encounter with 2 officers from the Elmhurst Police Department this week. I was headed downtown trying to catch a Metro train. After parking and digging through my purse and car, I realized I did not have the right change, $1.50 for parking. Only a large denomination bill. After finding a spot near White Hen, I went inside to get change. The store was unable to make change for me. An Elmhurst police officer at the store gave me the police department's non-emergency number and suggested I call to report my parking space number and how much I was short. But before I left, he radioed Officer Bob in parking enforcement. Officer Bob pulled right up, and instead of taking my information so I could return later to pay what I owed, reached into his pocket and gave me the change I needed. This kind of kindness got me on my way without missing my train. Thank you, Officer Bob, for your kindness and generosity. You're an asset to our police department and our community. And I thought that was kind of telling of the town that we live in, the spirit of our town, and I just wanted to make a nice shout out to Officer Bob for doing a great job and taking care of our taxpayers. Also, wanted to mention that the Elmhurst Historical Museum has a new display out, which is basically talks about building Elmhurst architectural legacy. So I encourage people to go out and take a look at the museum's display. And that's pretty much it from recommendations and appointments from the mayor. It's a short meeting, and we got holidays upon us, and I will, anybody else for recommendations at all? Or appoint? Okay. I will now go on to other business. Anybody for other business? Okay. And announcements. Anybody for announcements? City Manager Borges got his hand up over there.
Just 2 quick items to announce. The next city council meeting will be the first Monday in January, and in that we will not be having committee meetings between now and then. Typically, that first Monday, January council meeting is light, and there's some opportunity to do broader reports. It would be the city manager's intention, with the cooperation of the mayor, of course, and council, to report to you on the 5-year capital budget. That staff-prepared 5-year capital budget has been distributed to you this evening. It'll be posted on the website later this week. And again, for your review, understanding, we will not spend any time on it. We will present a summary for you on that first Monday in January. Receive further comments the January days. And typically what happens then, of the 5-year capital budget, the first 2 years of that 5-year capital budget are then reviewed in detail with the operating budget, which is distributed for your review first week of March. So that's, again, an upcoming item. In addition, the Next calendar year is the year of the census, and the city of Elmhurst is coordinating, cooperating with the U.S. Census Bureau. The city clerk's office has taken a lead role in that regard. I've already approached the League of Women Voters, other governmental entities to share in that Census Bureau effort. We'll provide a quick status report of action planning items at that first Monday in January for the council's overview. That's all we have to announce.
All righty. Also want to mention some of you who may have seen yesterday, we actually had a press conference here at Elmhurst City Hall. On Friday, the Center for Disease Control announced a 57% increase in the incidence of autism, and everybody in this room and probably even watching knows that's near and dear to my heart. And we have over 100 families battling this condition, which is the country's #1 medical condition afflicting children. It was interesting how that was kind of let out right before the holidays, and we had a lot of parent advocates very concerned that it would get kind of muffled through the press. So I called an official press conference here at City Hall. I called in many of the Illinois legislators. We had Senator Cronin here, Representative Rebelletti. We had leadership representatives, Representative Saviano, who's one of the minority leaders in the House, assistant minority leader in the House, came out, and advocates. Kathy Terrell from Ray Graham was here. All of those folks spoke about the alarming rate of increase and a shout to the CDC nationally, federally, saying we need more research, we need to find out what's causing this. It was on virtually every network last night. So just to make everybody aware of that going on. It was kind of short notice and over the weekend, but Elmhurst was definitely in the forefront of this, and I think we definitely were heard for this particular alarming number of 1% of the population now being diagnosed with autism. In relation to like cancer, which is at 1 in 10,000. Actually, former Attorney General Jim Ryan came out and spoke very compelling after losing his daughter to cancer, and that's a 1 in 10,000 incidence. He's very alarmed and very concerned as to what's causing this. Environmental, what is this, and getting the research and the funding so that we can put this fire out. So that's an announcement I wanted to let everybody know about. Anybody else for announcements? So, and I know Alderman Wagner's got 2 diabetic daughters, and we're going to be doing a lot of advocacy, I think, and outreach with the variety of conditions that we have to deal with. You know, we're the first responders in the city, and we're living it. So we need to cheer our state guys on, our county guys on, and even our federal guys on that we've got alarming numbers and things need to be done. So it all I think starts out at the grassroots level. So if anybody's got issues like this, please bring them to me, and we'll be a sounding board. So very good. At this point, if we have no other announcements, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Hipskin, Alderman York, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Merry Christmas, everybody. Safe and healthy, prosperous New Year. God bless. We're adjourned.